Y'all.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, we hope you enjoying Holy Week, Palm Sunday.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, great service. If you missed it, go back and watch it. Of course, we dropped the video last night at 7 p.m. If you get a chance to check it out, go check it out. And today, Bishop,
Yeah.
Monday, what Jesus did on that Monday.
Wow.
We want to look at it from Matthew's version.
Okay.
Because Jesus, his righteous reaction to an injustice, he makes no qualms about how he feels about what's going on in the temple.
I think you're on to something. Most people get hung up on the fact that they were selling things and miss what you brought out is the integrity, the character, and the lack of relationship that was being displayed in the temple. I think that with thinking about Jesus and what he came to do, the big disappointment was my temple is not relational.
Yep. It's transactional.
It's transactional.
You're hustling people because transactional people always hustle.
Yeah.
They hustle.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times there's this criticism. There was a big controversy 25 years ago as to whether it was right to sell anything at the church.
Yeah.
Okay. Which didn't make any sense. You raise offerings at the church, so you can't sell them. Okay.
Right. I know.
But you shouldn't be ripping folk off while you're doing it.
There you go.
That's the piece.
There you go.
But the bigger piece is that he did not see a place where the love, the relationship was inclusive.
Yep.
It was an exclusive environment like you have here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was listening to something this morning, and I'm going to quote this guy named Douglas Campbell. And I heard this. I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay.
He said, history is the stage on which the church struggles along to catch up with the ever-expanding boundaries of God's love.
Wow.
The history is the stage in which the church struggles along to catch up with the ever-expanding boundaries of God's love.
That makes so much sense.
God's love is out here, and the church is like, hold up, too narrow.
If it doesn't grow. But also that's, it appears to me that would be including the church national, international, responding incorrectly to the pressures of the culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Because if we believe they're coming from everywhere,
they're
going to come from everywhere.
Yeah. And you got to expect that.
Yes. So
that was good.
It was so the temple was transactional. It was exclusive.
Yeah.
You know, certain people weren't allowed in at certain times, and Jesus comes in there and he starts flipping over tables. He never harms a person. He just flips over the table.
All the symbols.
All the symbols.
Yeah.
He adjusts all that.
Is that the only table he ever flipped over?
Okay, you go. We think Jesus is flipping over tables every day.
No.
It was only certain time that he went and did this.
Yeah.
You know, and watch this. To me, it was an act of love also. Because love seeks to correct an injustice against other people.
Absolutely. But don't we tend to misidentify a single act of the Lord?
Yes.
He was single. So everybody just going to be in ministry should be single.
Yeah.
He flipped over a table. The temple got smoky. So the preacher didn't preach.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean every time you come to church that you pray so hard and you eliminate the word.
Yeah.
You know, people walk away hungry. So we have this tendency to make this mistake when it fits into a model that's not God's.
Yeah.
So we don't love enough. It doesn't mean the church doesn't have love. It means our love is too limited and narrow, and that it doesn't include enough people.
Yep.
Because if it's the love they have to feel first before the transformation begins.
Absolutely.
I got to feel like I'm in a safe place and a safe space.
Yeah, you're right. And you're right that the one-time thing. So to me, the super righteous judgmental platform is believing that Jesus was flipping over tables every single Sunday.
Absolutely.
And instead of loving people in, you know, there are times where you have to teach the congregation a hard lesson.
Yeah.
But even that is with love and care.
Sure.
And it's not every single Sunday I need to correct this.
And you have to know how to deliver that.
Yeah.
Part of it, and this may be a little tangential, part of the problem with correction during a sermon, I believe, comes from someone who has been forgiven, but has not forgiven themselves.
Yes.
So it comes from a place of self-condemnation. And like always, we want to share good and bad things with people. So messages come out real hard and hammering and condemning, when that eliminates the ability to show people love. Well, if you don't fully love yourself, you can't talk to me about something difficult. Okay.
It makes sense. The priests, before, the Old Testament priests, before they made sacrifices for the nation, the first sacrifice was for themselves.
Yeah, they had to go in there and get it right.
Clean yourself
That's
up
right.
first.
Go get it right.
So you can have some compassion when you're working on other people. Because when you know you're dirty, like you said, you have more compassion on other people.
But I think judgmentalism, even though we have a generation of people saying, don't judge me, you can't go on social media and not see one judgment after another.
They judge a lot.
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. And the Bible is clear in the book of Romans. Every time you judge someone, you are proving how little word you know. You got to shove the tree out of your own eye to see the speck in somebody else's. That judgmentalism is, we see it on TV, we see it on social media, but it's rampant on social media.
It is.
Matter of fact, it's the only thing that really garners a lot of likes and followers, is of how negatively you can be continually.
Response videos. Showing somebody else's video and you criticizing the whole entire thing.
And to the point now, with this AI thing, you can create something that's totally alive. And people will eat it up. Because that transactional and exclusive, like you say in your outline.
So Jesus cleanses the temple. And I love Matthew's version, because after he cleanses the temple, the lame, the sick, all those that were excluded, they come in and a miracle service breaks out.
Absolutely.
When he resets the house, deliverance happens. And all types of people come.
Absolutely.
So the church is for all people. He says the house of prayer for everybody.
That's right.
Not just for the ones that we want to come in.
But if you don't have that love, you know, and his love is not about necessarily what you want. His love is focused on what we need. And therein lies, maybe in some places, not here, but in some places, there's the thing missing. You know, are you focused ministry, messages, teaching, counseling on what's needed, not necessarily what's wanted? Because if you do the what's wanted thing, you'll succumb to the culture. And pollute, if you will, you'll make it exclusive and you'll make it transactional.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And Jesus is busting up that transactional,
he went in
exclusive.
He went off.
He went off.
But his body was being offended. So he took it personally.
He did.
Yeah.
Right. Because he came for those people.
Yeah, man.
And they come in healing and transformation.
And watch this. You guys don't know who's on their way here. They won't get what they need if they arrive, and it's a house of transaction. And it's exclusive. Because the lame folk and all weren't allowed in there. But these folk couldn't even buy their way in. That's true. But he's like, you guys don't know what's coming. I got to get this place right, because when they get here, we're going to break out in this healing revival.
And our thing had always been, you said, get them in the house.
That's all.
And let God take care of the rest.
Just stop policing folk that are unsaved. Now you got to give structure to folk that are saved, but stop. Leave something for the Holy Ghost to do. Please. Something for the Word to do. Something for the Spirit of God to do.
Absolutely. Give people time to learn how to make those adjustments.
You got a whole life you got to relearn.
And we say, let people come in the clothes that they have. They may not have church clothes, but if you're not paying for their wardrobe,
how you
just
if you ain't taking me shopping right after service and buying me a month's worth of clothes, keep your mouth shut.
Just
let me look around and see. Okay, next time I go shopping, I gotta alter how I'm looking here.
So true. So if God's gonna send them all, He's gonna send them all. Again, our thing is get people in the house.
That's all.
And Jesus will take care of them.
And Jesus makes sure that He sets the tone for the house that we're talking about in on Monday. You know, that thing is, you know, we probably need to do some teaching on that whole thing. Because that story has been misinterpreted and used for so many other reasons. For people who don't want to do things at the church, people that do want to do certain things at the church. And then Jesus comes in and said, my problem is not that you have business going on in the church, because the business is part business.
Yeah.
My problem is your motivation for the business.
Yes. Yep.
And they were ripping folk off.
They're ripping people off. That's my problem.
Got temple money, so your money doesn't work here, meant something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing these false exchange
Come
rates and
on,
all this stuff
man.
like that.
Come on, it was cheaper to buy it outside the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the church rate should be a safe place. Safe place.
That would be like us saying we're having chicken dinners. Now, I don't know what it costs to buy chicken today, frying chicken, maybe $12, I don't know. But we selling just the dinner with the drumstick and the thigh on it with a couple of things on the plate. We selling the dinners for $25.
$25, yeah. Come on. You know that'll cost them $25.
Come on, that's an exchange.
Right. So Jesus on his way to the cross, he celebrated on his way in.
Yeah.
And when he gets in, I'll use an old phrase, he starts wrecking shop.
That's right.
He starts changing things and being transformation. And to me, that's what salvation does.
Yeah.
You allow him to come in.
Yeah.
And
It's a renovation.
He starts renovating
Yeah.
some of those things.
Yeah. Renewing, I think the New Testament calls it.
Yes.
What we would call a renovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renewing this house, this temple. All right, y'all, we hope you enjoyed this video today. Tomorrow we'll be back on Tuesday at 7 p.m. with another video. And then Wednesday, Bible study. See if you can add in Judas with your Jude teaching.
I'm glad you tell me now.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
We'll see y'all tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Judas